I'm Imtiaz Buhardeen. I'm the Group Chairman of Almas Holdings. For my background, my father started a business empire. So from small childhood days, I was like following him, and he had many businesses. I used to go to the factories, the offices, the shops, whatever that he had. So from small days, I used to look at him and was thinking of like, business is my line. It's going to be. So that was my career path I was looking at.
Do you remember maybe a specific conversation or how old you were when this started being an idea in your head? Or was there ever a time like that, or was it just that was the flow from the start?
So my dad started the outstation factories in 1977 after the general elections. Since then, I was around 12 years that time. Since then, I used to be always visiting him, always going in the cars to many places, to the factories, and looking at how the business were run. I was part and parcel of the whole environment from that small days. Yeah.
From what age do you think it was?
So that was around 12 years old.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is it that you wanted to sort of maybe be around whatever he was doing and around him, or was it also that you felt like an interest in the field?
It was just this thing, like always, like as a family business, we always got used to being in that environment, and business were like being developed. A lot of new things were started by him. So every year or every few months, like something was new happening, and it was a nice journey. So I used to learn from young days what was happening.
Were there others in the family that were also involved at the time with you?
I'm the eldest in the family and the only boy. So I have 4 sisters. So everything was on me on business side of it.
Yeah. But your sisters never felt like they anyway had any interest in this?
No, generally the sisters, the girls didn't come into business side. But some of my, later on, once they were married, the brother-in-laws were getting involved into the businesses that he brought them in, yeah.
It seems like business was part of the family dynamic. I mean, just outside whether you had an interest in it or not, it just kind of seems like that was part of the family dynamic.
Correct, yeah. It was just automatic thing. You just had to go through that one, yeah. I had no choice kind of a thing. Of course, I could have always done something, but it was quite something big happening, so I had to be part and parcel of it.
At a young age, you felt like there was something big here.
That's right, yeah.
Okay. Was there ever a point where you felt like maybe either the pressure was too much, or do you feel like maybe, oh, I don't want to do this just because you're doing this, or I want to do my own thing, kind of? Do you have moments like that?
Quite in the latter part of it. I started after my schooling in 1980. I started the work with Dad. Since then, around 96, 97 period, I felt like, because at that time the country wars were going on, some situations in the country still, then I felt I should go out of the country and do something on my own. So that was the turning point on my side of it.
And in your early years, can you talk about your school life and where did you go to school?
Yeah.
How did you school?
So I started my early school days at St. Anthony's College, Katugastata. That was in 1970. I was there till 75 until at grade 5, the school was nationalized at that time. So, and actually my English medium was that was the last English medium, the batch. And thereafter I came to Colombo. I got admission at Royal College. So from grade 6 onwards I was at Royal.
Do you take part in any sports and stuff in Royal?
At school level I was into athletics. I did some athletics, but after leaving college I was quite a lot involved in squash. Still up to now I still play. Over 40 years now, and then I got into golf. Came to almost to a single handicap on golf. Squash also I played national level, and took part in a lot of club championships and all that, and won those. Thereafter, now lately I'm more into badminton, but I do my swimming. Any sports means anything, I'm quite interested. I'm quite all right in any sports to do.
Okay, so I think.
Well, now the gymming I still continue, so all that routine is still there. That discipline what I started when I was young days. So when I used to play squash, I used to like do almost 10 kilometers like running. I had a real hefty routine workout. At that time, there was the the junior champion. I hired him. Then he became a good friend of mine, and we two used to train together. And he became the national champion for about 8 continuous years. And I was the only practicing partner with him. So you can see that I used to play quite good, and then a lot of people used to watch us playing like for hours, like we used to play, and sometimes they book the courts and they still want to enjoy watching us playing. So that was the standard that time, like for squash.
And I think Shamir also says that he's good at any racket sports.
Yes.
Do you guys play? You teach him?
Yeah, from young days I used to take him around for road runs and teach him squash, trained him. Today he's much better player than me because he's young, On technical side, still I get a lot of points from him, but on fitness he's definitely, he can now beat me.
But you in your prime?
Yeah, a prime time, no chance.
Okay, and you said you swim and stuff as well?
Yeah, I do swimming, yeah.
What does your weekly fitness routine look like? How often are you swimming? How often are you playing squash?
Yeah, so I play with my friends. I play twice a week badminton, Saturday and Sunday mornings from 7 to 9 in the morning. I play 2 hours, and Monday to Fridays at least 3 to 4 times I do gymming. Right, today I did about 6 kilometers in the gym in the morning. From Monday till today, last 4 days I've been doing. Right, 6 kilometers.
You go on the treadmill?
On the treadmill. So you have to be fit, you have to, so that at this age also still we have to have that fitness, keep going. And swimming I'll do on maybe just once a week now. On a Sunday I take my grandchildren and do some swimming with them.
Where do you go?
At the apartment swimming pool now.
Is all your fitness stuff you try to do at the apartment?
At the apartment, yeah. Only for badminton I go out. For the last 1 year I stopped playing squash. I'm planning from next year early to start, because I had my knee problem, so I took a break. So, but I love the sport. I still like to start playing again. I used to play twice a week, Tuesdays and Thursdays. So I had to give up and now slowly start back again.
What were the knee issues that you had?
I've been avoiding a surgery. Every time I go to a surgeon, they say you have to do an operation. But I've been avoiding that and taking some rest, and then again back into action all the time.
To be honest, it's very surprising to me the level of fitness that you also keep at this time. Do you think you do it because, for your work, do you feel like it's important that you're physically fit as well?
As I said, from young days I got used to that routine. So it's a discipline that I'm carrying forward for health and for work-wise also. Because apart from my gymming, most of the time I'm seated. So during trading times, 5 hours, I'm just seated in one place. So I need to keep something doing. So that's one of the reasons.
Because I think a lot of people talk about needing to exercise, how much that helps you with your mental clarity and stuff. Do you feel like you experience that, or do you just do it because it's just who you are?
It helps to to relax, and sometimes your stressful days are there, but it's always good to start something in the morning, we are fresh and fit, so your mind is free, you're much clearer, you're ready to do so that feeling is there. I start very early in the morning. I start at 4 o'clock in the morning. I get up for my prayers, and some days I go to the mosque also early morning. and that's the routine. So like then after that 6-7 o'clock I'll go to the gym, then I'll finish my papers, I read all the papers, then I'm on the internet looking for what happened to the markets the previous night in the US and the European markets, and look at a lot of and while I'm doing my walking or jogging on the treadmill, I listen to all the YouTubes, like Warren Buffett's, to all the gurus who are out there, and about the markets, more about the markets I start listening. Yeah.
Is it more newer stuff when you're on the treadmill and you're listening to Warren Buffett? Is it more evergreen content that you feel like is just helpful to you and that you're just trying to learn, or is it just more relevant to today's market type things that you are listening to?
It is very relevant, and you have to understand, like in the markets, it's very difficult to read the market. You can never be an expert, or you can be 30-40 years experience, but markets teach you all the time something different and new. So I always follow the foreign markets, so at least there's some lesson to learn from what they have gone through and how they have performed. Yeah, we are quite backwards, I would say, by few years. So if you can understand the foreign markets, how they have worked and how they do, so at least through the local this thing you will be able to correct yourself or improve whatever you are doing.
I was about to ask about your routine which you got into. You said you start at 4 in the morning. Can you take me through 4 in the morning, wake up for your prayers, to the time you go to sleep, generally what your day looks like?
Yeah. So as I said, at 4 o'clock I'll get up in the morning, then have morning prayers I do at home, and certain days I go to the mosque early morning, finish that and come by around 5:30, 5:45, and thereafter I'll go through some WhatsApps, messages, or quite a lot of groups are there now, a lot of information to see, read all that messages, and after that around 6:30 I'll try to go to the gym and come back and read the papers a bit, just the hard cover, just to see most of the news already I would have seen in the WhatsApp, just to see how it looks on the paper, and thereafter I'll have my bath and then have breakfast, and at least by 9:15 I'm at my table to start my day for trading. So I have never missed a trading day, I'm always there, wherever I'm going on I'll carry my computers. If I'm abroad or anywhere, I'll make sure all my appointments timing is all done past after 2:30. So giving any appointments or anything, I always give priority to the market. Although I don't trade on a daily basis because I'm more on a long-term investor, but I like to still keep watching the market to see the behavior, what are the things happening. So you'll get a lot of ideas by just looking at it. So maybe end of the day I might just trade for just a small amount just to keep it going. But the days I buy big, it'll be different. I have to do all my verification, checking, and all the routine things. So thereafter that, by around 2:30 I'll have my lunch, because before that it's a little difficult. Then if I'm in office, I try to come to office at least 3 times a week. I don't come all 5 days now. Because my son and the other professional team is now working, so I come 3 times a week. Then I'll have some meetings would be arranged with the management, so we'll go through that till about 6:30, and thereafter I'm with the family and with grandchildren, and just take it easy there. But always the WhatsApp is keeps you busy, with whatever. You can't take your eyes off the phone now. It has become a habit, because information is keep on flowing, so you have to want to know now what happened to the markets, other markets, other commodities, what's happening. So there's a lot of information to go, and that's the only way you can learn. There's anything to learn about knowledge, I'll keep learning. So I would say at least 4-5 hours of the day will be more on reading or listening to YouTube. That's how I get my knowledge updated. So I think that's very important. If you want to be investing, you have to be focused on something. And I'm quite passionate about this from young days. I have more than almost getting close to 40 years now into investments. I have done many businesses, all that. But coming to investing, that is my personal interest, that passion that I have. So I take personal interest on that, and it's interesting that you learn quite a lot. You learn about different industries, sectors, economy. Everything is covered inside this. Even politics, everything comes into this. So once your investor is just not only just trying to buy and sell, a lot of information is required. Maybe to Sri Lankan standard, maybe still not up to that yet, but still I want to be in that level, so I want to be one step ahead always.
In the business world or even otherwise, like you mentioned, you listen to a lot of Warren Buffett. But growing up or even now, do you feel like you have heroes that you looked up to, or in the space that you look to emulate, or whether it's even in how they conduct business or even how they conduct their general life? Is there anyone that stands out to you?
Yeah, so currently now I like Warren Buffett is one of the main mentors, I would say, or following him. But in general business, my dad has been quite inspirational, because the way he came up from nothing, he started from zero. At least we started from, something was built for us. So I really admire him, the way he started, and he went into about, I would say, more than 20 different businesses, and quite leading in most of those. We were at one time we were leaders in most of that, and we were pioneers, in garment industry. Used to have more than 5,000 people working. So then later on I became the managing director, looking after all those business interests and all that. That's why I have a good knowledge of generally all the other businesses, which helps me now in investing world now, because we have gone into departmental stores, retailing, from trading, exporting tea, can call it gems, and then insurance, shipping. We owned a ship also, and travel business. We had this thing. So many businesses that we had those days. So I had a good knowledge of everything. So that brings in that my expertise into how to look at other businesses, how they are running, and those things. So that's one. Then I would say locally there were quite few there, one Mr. Rafiq Osman, he was earlier the chairman of Expo Lanka before they sold out. I used to admire him from those days, because he also had 30-40 different businesses, and he was quite a religious person, and I used to go with him for 3 days, Saturday, Sundays, with him, and he used to be a completely different person during that period, but he used to run quite a big organization. So I used to admire him, how he spends time for other things, but at the same time he was running a very successful business. That one was that. Then those days even Lalit Kotalawala, he was at those days he used to be quite a big businessman, and used to started a lot of businesses. Now maybe Dhammika Perera is in that scene, I would say. Yeah, so personally I'm not too much looking at them, but I admire them, the way they are come up and they're doing businesses.
You are a religious person that maybe brought you some sort of strength or some discipline in your life.
True.
Is there anything that you can say that relates religion to your life?
So from my early days, I was I would say from Montessori onwards, I have been boarded until I finished my studies, right? So I have been in about 7-8 different houses during that whole period. So one of the places that I was at when I was in St. Anthony's College from grade 1 to 5, I was boarded in a teacher's house. They were Christians, right? I used to go with them sometimes to the church, and because she used to take me for her this thing, not for anything for me, but I used to just stand and wait, the church until the services are over, and to get back together, take her back like that. So, and also in the school, also in the assemblies and all were Mondays they used to have the assembly, and they used to have the church, whatever, my early days was like that. So I didn't have a proper religious studies at young days. I used to have, but not that 100% properly kind of a trained or whatever. I would say I'm still a moderate religiously, I do my prayers, and whatever can I do my these things. But I won't call like a very kind of a religious person. But I would say within me I do the best, whatever I can I'll do. And of course, one is prayers, another thing. The other thing is like charities is another area where I can contribute and do from whatever like earn. So that's one area that I want to do in the future also in a bigger way. I'm hoping to look into that one. So I won't say although people think we do like white list and all those things, that I'm kind of a very religious guy, right? But I do all my prayers. I try to whenever I can go to the mosque, even like for morning prayers. Like I don't think so a lot of people will go, right? But that's a small thing. But I try my other times I'm quite busy. Sometimes I can't make it. But of course on Fridays we have to. That's a compulsory. Everyone goes for that. Other than that, I don't want to call myself like a very religious guy, but moderate. I'm nothing bad I do, so I try to do whatever good through religion, and that brings in a lot of discipline. So your 5 times you will see whenever there's a meeting, even the time is up, I'll get up and go. Even trading time, I don't look for anything else. Time means I'll go and do my prayers and come. That I never missed, right? The 5 times, that's a normal thing that every Muslims have to do. But a lot of people give excuses for that. But I do on time, I do all those things.
In your time when you feel like
Oh,
someone
yeah.
you want to lean on,
Yeah.
who's that person?
So my wife is she's very strong and like gives me a lot of support. So when I feel like something I need to talk or anything, I'm quite open, and I'll always speak, and she'll come out of the box like some good ideas, and whatever that moment, she'll be a good help to me. And that's for a long time I've been doing that even now. And now slowly my son Shamir is also there, so I'll talk a lot with him also. So since they are slowly taking over, I'm grooming them. So I'm quite, I would say, I'm in safe hands. Like they are already is learning the business well, and they are all ready to like kind of take over to the next level. Like, so I'm happy about everything, all what's happening. Yeah.
Do you think there's a common incorrect perception that people have, that you see maybe headlines or whatever, maybe people talk, that you feel like is incorrect and maybe inaccurate in your opinion?
I wouldn't say anything personally to me, but in general, I think if we are quite successful in anything, I think it's a Sri Lankan way. I think there's a lot of jealousy, and people don't want to accept, people can't come forward, or they are not doing well. They want to always see someone else who has done well and to talk something bad about them. So that is one perception I've seen like happening. But I don't know whether I have seen anything more personally to me. I can't. I'm quite active in my socials, like in Twitter and all that. Very rare I get some bad comments or someone try to, put something about me. But I take it. I don't take it badly or anything like that. Everyone will have to have their own say. Sometimes some people think that I'm too positive or too optimistic, right, about certain views and everything. But that's my nature, that I believe in that. So that's what keeps me going to be successful. But if you are half-heartedly or trying to do many things, you won't be able to come out. Now see, whatever problems that we have gone through in the country. So I would say, like, I was there about 2 weeks back. I was the chief guest at Royal College Islamic Society. I was invited. So I was looking at the young students who are organizing and doing. So I was just thinking about them in 20 years, what they will be like for myself. And I was thinking, for when I came out of college, I'm the 83 badge. So if you really see the 83 badge onwards, we had the 83 riots started, right? And then thereafter the war started with that. Then we had the 88, 89, the JVP insurrection was there. And from there onwards, every time the war went on for about 27, 28 years, it continued, and bombs going off all over in these places, from the airport to central bank to, everywhere. So while we were doing business, it was really a difficult time. We went through all that. Then thereafter, last 5 years, we have seen the constitutional crisis, right? They saw the East attack, then we saw the COVID coming, and also finally the economic downturn that we went through. All these and the tsunami before that, we had that also. So I've gone through all these bad periods, and we have survived as a nation and quite resilient, everyone. And I used to think all my classmates to the batch that we were, and most of the people have gone through this and they have come out well, and always the younger generation are thinking, now things are slowly settling down. Of course, they have seen the last 5 years were not good, so they are making decisions and trying to run out of the country. But how I am looking at is completely different. I see most of these have now finished. We have gone through the bad periods, and hopefully now the new government is there. All the people are behind it. The corruption, they will tackle. Good governance will come in, and foreigners will start coming in if there's no corruption. If you make it ease of doing business. There's so much of scope for Sri Lanka because we have never gone to our potential. Now we always talk about the countries geographically in a good place, right? A lot of potential is there, like for tourism, to many things to improve. And for me, it's the next 10-15 years is going to be the Asia's like tiger, right? Like how Vietnam and other like Thailand, Indonesia, all those countries, Malaysia, all came up after crisis. They all really came out very well. So I think this is our turn now. I can't see really anything bad now happening because with whatever IMF that we have gone back, all the disciplines are coming, with the revenues are increasing. Now expenditure is the next area that they might have to control and reduce. That I'm sure this government will do. So foreigners, I think they will start coming in, and from diaspora, who are people who have gone out of the country, 2-3 million people are leaving. They can come back with lot of knowledge and money, or if they have some confidence back in Sri Lanka. So there's a lot of positive areas I am taking where country can go forward. So that's how I always look at it. But if I say this, some people will take it in the wrong way and say, what nonsense is talking, every year we have a problem, kind of a thing. So that's one area I think people misunderstand me sometimes.
Are there times when you feel like you have been optimistic and it has, come back to bite you because you were too optimistic?
Not really, it has come to bite me. Every time I made those calls, because most of the time I invested, I never pulled out any of these periods. When the downturn came, I never pulled out my investments. Right now, even recently, the people are expecting the NPP government will take power, and a lot of big funds also started selling in the market, right? Because they thought after they come, I don't know what they are going to do because we didn't know their policies properly, right? But we never made any decisions like that. We were also not sure about what they will do, but we were always confident whoever going to come, whatever happens. That's how I always believe. Even world wars are not going to just start like that, right? Even a world war comes and the world is going to come to end, that's the last thing and that's it. So until then, I'm optimistic that things are going to happen and move on. So if something really bad going to happen, all are going to die and that's it. So that's principle I always think, and we have bounced big. I have seen in the cycle in the markets for the last 40 years, not only here, world markets, right? How many crises it has gone through. Economic crisis, the world, Asian financial crisis, the pandemics, certain wars have come and gone, and all that, and all the world markets at all-time highs. All the businesses are, going high and getting better and better. So yeah, you will have for 6 months, 1 year, you might go through a problem, but you are going to emerge even bigger and better after that. So you can't make a call for short term just because of that. Now we are just thinking there will be tension now now see Russian-Ukraine problem, but 3 years ago it started. But from day one, every day we were thought it's going to be a world war going to start. Then thereafter we moved into the Middle Eastern crisis that's going on. So again, now more than 1 year has gone on that. Of course, a lot of things are happening in that, but what I'm saying is, I don't see like a third world war is going to just start. It's not fun. No one wants to start that, right? Any country is not, they are not fools just to go and start a war and all the countries to just go down. So it will be a threatening kind of a thing, they'll use those things for tactics, but other than that, I don't think so anything real might happen. In general, like looking at the world history, it has always bounced back. There's nothing continuously going to keep happening. Some countries, okay, you have recessions, all these are man-made things, like, we call numbers, you have a GDP number, this number, that number, like, time to time you keep changing those. So to suit however you want, like, we are a country like, we are like 8, 10%, 12% interest rates, right? And we went up to all the way up to 30%. And during that periods also, most of the big business have survived. Of course, a lot of SMEs are still suffering. But you see other countries are sometimes 2, 3%, 4%. And when they want to increase 0.25% interest, the whole markets comes down. And it's a huge problem for them. But we are surviving with much higher rates and that kind of, I'm just saying one example like that. So for me, it's like, I don't take it too much, it's a concern for me, right? So I'd always look at the bigger picture. So that's why I say always have to be in, it's not the timing of the market, like, especially it's you have to time you spent in the market. So that means you have to invest and wait. And that's why I said earlier also, like, I invest and I don't do much during the day. That's the time I just keep reading. I keep just one eye on the this thing just to see how is the turnover, what are the shares going up, or what is especially anything happening there. Other than that, I'm just reading about other things. I'm just waiting. Maybe I invested for 3 years, 4 years, 5 years. I'm not ready to sell, right? So you have to get panic and you want to take a call of selling. It should be fast, within 5 to 7% to make a call and cut it off. But if a share is going up, you have to just sit and write that. But a lot of people do the mistake is when they see a 2%, 5%, 10% gain, they quickly want to take profit out of that. And next day you see it has gone another 10%, right? And over a period 6 months, suddenly you see the share would have gone 30%, 50% or 100%. And then you say, no, I couldn't enjoy. But you would have waited about 2 years in that share. And as soon as you start seeing going up, you start selling. But when it had gone down 30%, you had not done anything. You're just sitting on it on bad days.
You spoke a bit about the younger generation, and you said that they haven't seen the actual so many downs, and you've been there through all of them. Is there anything for the younger generation that you feel like something that might be a strength of theirs that they have, maybe that they don't realize, and then two, is there something that you feel like some advice that you would like to give them because you feel like they're not doing it as well? Maybe if it's investing or if it's just general.
Yeah, so basically most of the young generations are all now educated. They'll have some degree or, they would have done well in their studies and they take a lot of time out and do that. So that's very good. But at the same time, you need experience. You have to work hard from, start as an internship even and start going up. That's one area I think they'll have to put in a lot of, you can't take it easy, just because you have a holder degree and that it's not going to give you anything. First thing they ask is what is the experience, right? And they'll check on an interview also, you will be scrutinized to see whether this person, although he has whatever degrees or anything, whether he will be suitable for the job, how you speak, how you are ready to work and all kinds of things. So that's one area I think they'll have to improve, to work hard. That's very important. And also, like, coming to investing, they'll have to also start when they are young to start investing, because you tend to like spend money when you are young. Whatever money you make, you think materialistically to spend that. You want to buy the best of watches or clothes or travel and eat, and that's where your focus is. But yeah, you can do that, but at least put aside at least 15-20% for your investment and look at next 40-50 years how you can grow this and compound it. Compounding is they call it the eighth wonder of world, right? So that's it'll take off. Like, they say 1 million rupees can be 1 billion rupees in 30-40 years if that keeps compounding. So that something like that, they'll have to get used to it. I know a lot of people are into cryptocurrencies, I don't say it's bad or this thing good, but at least that's now see a lot of people, they believe in crypto when they were like, even 18, 20,000 it came, it went up to 60, 70,000 and then dropped to all the way down to about 17, 18,000. But that time the people are saying that it will go to $1 million, right? But people don't, sometimes they didn't believe how it doesn't make sense. But it came back and now it's almost close to 100 today, it's 98 or something today. So it's almost now touched 100. So if you touched 100, I think 1 million also in another 5-10 years, it's not like impossible, like, so people believe means that's how, like, it's like markets also. So markets also, you can see it has always, the S&Ps or the whatever the index has been growing at 8, 10, 12, 15% continuously and compounding, like, going on. That's why so certain shares, like if you take, like if you had invested on a long-term basis, it has given you a very good return. It can be so many 100x even sometimes, right? But long-term. But what we'll see is if you make 100%, we'll definitely take it out, most of the people. But that opportunity is going to come back in Sri Lanka. Now we are always talking of American market, the Indian markets, other matured markets. They have made money. The huge money has been made, but now it's becoming not that easy.
At what point in your career do you get interested in the stock market, and how did you get started?
Yeah, so that's also from my school days. The interest came to me because one of my classmates' father used to be quite a big investor in the market even during those days, even before the stock exchange, Colombo Stock Exchange started. He was one of the pioneer investor. So when we always used to meet my friends and discuss like what their parents doing, and also this was little bit curiosity for me to find out what he was doing, and that then the liking came and wanted to know, study about it more on that. So that was my initial interest that came to me. Since then, I used to even subscribe for the Asian Wall Street Journal. The paper used to come to me on a daily basis for about 3-4 years. I used to subscribe and get the American markets to see. So on like today's paper will come the following day to my office, and to that level I used to got that interest. I wanted to study. That's how I really started, and the beginning from almost when 1985 the market started, opened up from almost from day one. I've been an investor in the stock market here. In between there was a small break that I went out when I went out of the country in 99. For about 10 years I was out of the market. Actually 12 years I was out of the country. Then when I got back in 2011, I started again to start investing. And from 11 to almost 20, I would say 8-9 years, I had not made any big money, just investing one way. And when the COVID hit and the markets opened, that time everyone started coming into the market, and that's when the market really took off. I had already a big portfolio I had built up, so that multiplied many times. That's how everything turned for me in the markets.
Shamir mentioned to me that from day one of the seats, you've been there from that point on.
Correct.
I think
it was different stages of that one, how it started and all that. The initial stage, I can remember going to at York Street. They used to have the first floor, like a floor like this, all the brokers inside this and glass wall, and we used to take the intercom and speak to them. It's a call it what outcry or model, like where they shout and speak and they do the initial orders, and end of the day they'll write and they'll come and say this is the amount we bought for you, right? And thereafter it's followed up with the share certificate itself, comes to us by post. So you can exactly see who sold the share. The previous owner who sold that shares come to us, the original. So so and so had only sold these shares. Now here of course you don't see, right? So that's how then even the dividends also is to always, the check used to come, but now everything's automated. It's much easier. So the young generation getting into the market is very much easier today. Everything is automated, and you don't need anyone, if you can spend just about 2 hours of your time, you can master and while doing your other work, whatever your job or your business or whatever, you can make some money, some passive income you can start as and then slowly build it on. And the best way you can make money is once you put in time to anything, go big, right? So in my case, I would say like almost 90% I'm in the share market, right? Maybe 10% on the properties and little bit. And I watch that basket very closely on a daily basis, right? So people say diversify into many things, but of course within this I have diversified, but I closely monitor this on a daily basis and make sure that everything is going right. And we have a lot of in the market also, if a company is going bankrupt or something, there are a lot of early signals can be seen because the quarterly results are out. Like even in our business, sometimes we won't be able to see our company results, how we are performing sometimes. But it's a mandatory, like for listed companies to put out the quarterly results within 45 days maximum. It has to be put to the public. So the trends, how they are performing, whether the debts have gone up or whether continuously are going into losses or they are losing market share or revenue is going down. Those are all the red flag to understand and to quickly move out. And if something is even worse, bad, even the auditors will qualify the report and they'll be put into a watch list. So you have plenty of time to move out of a company where that company is going to go bad or something like that. So I would say it's safe if you have really studied the companies well and you understand. It's a safe place to invest and you can make it's a wealth creative this thing. So I think if you take lots of countries, even USA, it's almost 60% of the people are investors, right? Directly or through their kind of like EPF or whatever that they have. They are invested. Like even markets like one in India is like 12 to 15% people have invested. They're huge. You can't take all the population and say 10-12% because a lot of people are poor. Like if you take the middle class, it's quite a big percentage. But Sri Lanka, it's I think just less than 2% still. So there's a lot of room to grow, and market is going to get bigger and bigger going forward only. So there's a lot of scope in this area if you really put in time and learn about it.
Perfect place to close out.
All right.